Okay, Matt Patella here again, and I'm going to try and explain as simple as possible what control strokes are, what the levels are, and as briefly and as simply as I possibly can. And this is very basic.
And I have a few other videos on YouTube where I do a demonstration of the full stroke, which that's called. Notice I'm about 18 inches from the drum. I throw the stroke down and simply let it come right back. Now, the volume is going to be pretty strong. Now, that's called a full stroke or a free stroke. All right, the next stroke is a downstroke. All I do is throw the stick down and stop the stick. Now, here you have to be somewhat careful because a lot of guys have a tendency when they bring the stick down, they grab the stick really tight to prevent it from going back. So I hold the stick just tight enough so I can control that and it doesn't come back. I don't create any tension. I don't squeeze the stick. I don't prevent the stick from vibrating because if you prevent the stick from vibrating, you're going to cause it not to sound correctly. I have the full stroke and the downstroke. And also notice the sticking volume from the full stroke to the downstroke is the same. Full stroke and downstroke, the same. The next two strokes is the tap. I simply keep my hand where I stop the stick and just drop it. It comes right back. That's called a tap. Slower, it's a lot lower in volume because the distance is not as great as it is here. So the next stroke from that point would be an upstroke. I'm at the tap. Now I want to come up, okay, for this particular video to the upstroke, or to the full stroke rather, excuse me. So now, free stroke or full stroke, downstroke, a tap, and an upstroke. That's the elements. That is necessary. That is what's occurring when you play. It's very natural. You can never practice that enough. And whoever says so, what can I tell you? It's when you play, that's what you do. That's how you execute. Whether you realize it or not, you're using the levels. You have the full stroke, the downstroke, the tap, and the upstroke. Now, sticking heights is basically three, but there could be a number of different sticking heights because there's a spectrum of distance from here to here. I'm not coming all the way back behind my shoulder. I'm keeping it about right there. And there's 18 inches roughly, and there's a spectrum here. It could be here, here, here. Okay. Now that's the full stroke again. Now that's 18 inches. That's called a full stroke. The next stroke would be a half stroke. I'm taking from the 18 about half, which is 9 inches. That's a half stroke. That's the half stroke position. Now, the next one would be a quarter stroke position. I would lower the stick to about down here, about 2 or 3 inches off the drum, and play it there. So I have an 18-inch stroke, roughly, which is referred to as the full stroke. I take it down half to about 9 inches or 8 inches or whatever, and that's called a half stroke. Then I bring it down half of that. That's the quarter stroke. So I have full, I have half, and I have tap or quarter stroke. So that's the difference between the sticking positions and the sticking heights. Now, control stroke, it, it, it is actually, by me explaining to you the sticking positions, is what a control stroke is. If I use a full stroke and a tap, okay, and I come up, I'm back in position to hit an accent. So if I play the triplet, one and the, two and the, three and the, that's a control stroke. Down, tap, up, or it's the levels. Same thing with the left hand. For example, if I'm playing a triplet and you see That's not a very fast triplet, but what's occurring in there is a downstroke, tap, up, down, tap, up. Your control strokes or your levels. Okay, it's natural. If I'm playing single strokes at this position, from this point, I'm just playing singles. But now I want to hit an accent on the count. I play 16, so I'm going to hit the accent on the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. So something is going to have to happen. I can't get the same stick, an accent on a downbeat 1, 2, 3, 4 without lifting the stick. I'm not going to pinch or squeeze the stick because that's either going to prevent the stick from vibrating, and if I pinch it, it's going to create tension, and you will have some physical issues somewhere eventually, like carpal tunnel syndrome or tendonitis. So what occurs now, if I want the accent, is I'm going to have to get an upstroke to a downstroke. Now let me do that slow. What I'm doing, I'm tapping. I'm playing eighth notes now. 1 and 2 and 3, and I'm going to accent the counts of 1 and 3. 1. I'm going to get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now I'm going to break that down slow motion. And this is how I teach. I take what you do or what you want to do and break it down to a very, very slow, almost slow motion way to show you what's occurring. It's a natural way, and if you reinforce that natural thing, it becomes stronger. So if I did 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and slow, it would be down, tap, tap, up, down, tap, tap, up. Now, we're not trying to do anything fast. We're not trying to set any world records here or, uh, it's not about speed. This is about control. And that's what it is. Control strokes, heights, or sticking positions, or levels. I did a demonstration on the paradiddle with a right hand and alternating paradiddle. Right hand and left-handed paradiddle with the accent on the first stroke in 16. I'll do it in eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, I just played an alternating paradiddle with the accent on the first stroke. I mean, you want to get it here. Okay, what's happening there is this. Simple. Sticking heights, levels, or control strokes. They're not the same. Sometimes they get a little confused. Remember, sticking height is full stroke position, 18 inches, half stroke position, about 9 inches, and a quarter stroke, about 2 or 3 or 4 inches, or whatever you want it to be. Like I said, there's a whole spectrum in here. And you cannot do this enough. It does not get boring. All it does is reinforce the natural way to play. That's all. You have a little kid playing like this, and you tell him to hit one louder, he just naturally will bring his stick up and come down. And what happened there was he's using naturally the levels or the control strokes or the sticky heights. It's simple. Very, very simple. People make a big issue out of it. You squeeze the stick, you height, you go no pain, no gain, burn the muscles, get a little ball here. It doesn't make no sense at all to me. If that works for them, fine. I don't pinch a stick. I don't create tension, and I don't push my muscles until they burn because it's not a sport. I'm playing the drum. I'm letting the drum sound. I'm controlling the stick to make it sound, and that's the control strokes, sticking heights, or levels. Okay, so with that being said, hope this helps somewhat. Thank you. Also, if you'd like, you could visit my website, www.mattpatellallivelessons.com. I can next time leave a www up. mattpatellallivelessons.com. And sign the guest book if you'd like. Have a good day.